Journals not only make wonderful gifts, but they also help you organize your thoughts, memories, goals, prayers, and dreams. Today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you how to convert an inexpensive composition book and pen into a beautiful and useful journaling set. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need for this project. First, you're going to need a composition book, and I picked mine up at Staples. They've got them at all different office supply stores, your grocery store, dollar stores, even the big box stores. Then you're going to need a score pal and some score tape. You're also going to need a Glue Glider Pro or some sort of adhesive, other types of adhesive other than the score tape. You're going to need some cardstock and some patterned paper. Let me tell you quickly about the patterned papers that I've chosen. First, for cardstock, I'm using the Gina K Designs Pure Luxury Chocolate Kiss cardstock that comes in the Organize It kit. And then what I've done is I've gone to the freebies page at Stamp TV, and I've picked two of the patterns from the Peachy Keen freebie digital paper set, and I printed them out on my home computer and printer and cut them down to size, and they're beautiful and they're easy to work with, very, very easy to do, and because these are lighter patterns, they don't use up very much ink at all. Then you're going to need a sponge and some ink, and I'm using the Vivid Taupe ink. You're going to need a corner rounder, and I'm using a larger corner rounder for this project. You're going to need a pen, and I'll tell you about the pens in just a little bit. You're going to need some sharp scissors. I'm using my Cutter Bees, some ribbon from the Organize It kit, and some brads from the Organize It kit, and then a paper piercer and a pad to pierce your paper on. Okay, so to begin, let's start by creating the spine. We're going to upholster our book, and I'm going to start by creating the spine of the book. Now what I've done here is I've cut a piece of the Chocolate Kiss cardstock to measure 3 inches by 9 3/4 inches. Now this is the important part. When you get ready to score, you want to line up the top part of your paper with 1/8 of an inch below number 1, the number 1 inch spot. So it's just that first little notch below number 1. As long as you have it there, you're going to get a nice even space between the two ends, and then your spine will be in the center, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm just going to have them zoom in on that for a second. As you can see here in this tight shot, here is the 1 inch mark, and I have my paper right up against the first little notch below 1 inch. And the two spots that you want to score are the little dot next to the 2. You're going to start there and score one line going down. And then right on the 2.5 inch mark, right there, like that. And that is going to create the spine of your book. You can see when I fold on those score lines, I have exactly the right amount to cover the spine of my book, like that. And now the next step is going to be to tape this piece onto my composition book. And I'm going to do that using some score tape. Let me find my end here. Okay. And I'm going to put one piece close to the spine, and then the other same way on that side. And then I'm going to put one piece along the edge to make sure that that stays down. And the same on the back. Okay. And now I'm just going to remove those strips and apply this to my book. Okay, so I'm just going to lay the spine right across and make sure that it's even, and then press it down front and back. And there, now I've created the spine piece to my book. Now the next step is to create the front panel, And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to round the corners using my larger corner rounder so that it matches my composition book a little bit better. And then I'm also going to round the edges from my piece of patterned paper that I'm going to upholster on top of that. Now for all the measurements to all these pieces of paper, all the pieces of cut cardstock and paper, visit stamptv.com, and right underneath the screen for this video will be all of the measurements that you need to do this project. And I'm going to turn this one around, make sure that I get it right in the right spot. Okay, now my next step is to tape this piece down onto my brown piece, and for this I'm going to use my glue glider because I don't need quite as sticky of a bond when I'm just applying some thin patterned paper onto cardstock. This is plenty strong enough. And layer that on top. Okay. Now, using some more score tape, I'm going to apply this onto the front of my composition book. And again, I want to get it fairly close to the edge so it doesn't lift up. And you can see how easy it is to just tear the score tape exactly where you need it. I'm using the 1/4 inch score tape. And again, I'm going to peel off that protector on the score tape. And then I'm going to line this one up. I have to look at it a little bit here. Line it up so that it meets perfectly at the top and the bottom. Like that. And now I've got my cover. Now I've already created one for the back, so you didn't have to watch me do the same exact thing again. And now I'm going to apply this one to the back of my book. Now that I have both the front and the back cover upholstered onto the book, the next step is I'm going to hide my seam in the front using some ribbon. Now the seam doesn't look bad at all. It's actually a very nice seam, but I am going to hide it just on the front using some ribbon, and the ribbon will add a decorative touch. So I'm sliding the ribbon in, and I'm going to actually knot it at some point right about up here. So once I've got my ribbon in place, I'm going to run a piece of score tape down across that seam. This is actually going to enable me to tie my ribbon very easily without the need of any assistance, and it's going to keep my ribbon very, very straight. So I've added a strip of score tape, and let me pull so I have just a little bit of extra to work with. Now, from my top part, I'm going to press down just a little bit of the way, like about there. And then my bottom part, I'm going to come up fairly close to that spot. Let me get it a little bit straighter here. That's what's nice about it too. You can pull it back off and readjust it a couple of times before it turns into a permanent bond. Okay, so now there I have my 2 strips of ribbon, and you can see I'm not even holding it and it doesn't move around, which is going to make it very easy for me to tie this bow. And then, or my knot rather. Now I'm going to tie like this and then press down onto the tape. And then I'm going to finish off with a knot.